Yeah, well, that was a special story anyhow, Cameron and his wife. All right, 5:30 having arrived, call the meeting to order. Stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So we have one employee longevity award for 20 years of service. I believe all of it's in the police department, for Glenda Smith. She's not able to be here today, but 20 years with the town of Deerfield. She deserves our thanks for sticking that one out, that's for sure.
Thank you, Glenda.
Thank you, Glenda. All right. We'll move right to outstanding minutes. Let's take the 6th.
Motion to approve the 6th.
Second?
Moved and seconded, Dick and Andy.
Hi, Fred.
Hi, Fred. We have the minutes of the 6th of November. Anyone have any addendums?
I had a couple of minor corrections, but I couldn't find my minutes, so just go with what we got.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? How about the minutes of the 13th?
Moved as written?
Second.
Dick and Andy and Jeff. Discussion?
I was absent for most of the meeting, so I don't know if I'll just abstain from voting on this or not. At least the portion that I was here, the minutes looked okay.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstain, one abstention.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I was trying to find some old minutes tonight, and I can't seem to find a record of the minutes from October 2nd. At least we don't have them posted.
Okay.
They have slipped through, but
We'll check them.
I think it was mostly budget discussion.
They're not online?
No.
Okay.
Very well.
And I didn't get back to my garage to look through my pile, so I don't know if we have them on paper or not.
I'll check on it tomorrow.
All right, I have an accounts payable manifest in the amount of $48,769.96.
So moved.
Second?
Dick and Andy. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
That's for planning.
Yep, I know. Just letting you know. All right, I have a payroll manifest that grosses at $53,983.67 and nets at $40,684.73.
Move to approve?
Second?
All right,
Sorry, I
Fred
was busy,
and
sorry.
Andy. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
That's just what Steve signed.
All right. Does everyone remember the Social Security FICA thing that we discovered for 2012 and how we approved for the town to pay those fees, both ours and theirs, and get it straightened out?
Yes.
Yes.
I have here finally all the paperwork so that John can send it out. All the, what are these called?
Corrected W-2s.
Corrected W-2s. I would like the board's permission for the chairman to sign these and get them off.
I would make a motion that we authorize the chairman to sign the employee W-2s to correct the unfortunate tax situation we found ourselves in earlier this year.
Second.
Andy and Jeff. Any discussion?
Yeah, I'm just glad the chair is signing them and not the rest of the board.
I'm going to eat until 9:15.
Yeah, that would be late for dinner. Anyhow, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I'll take care of that. All right, we have an intent to cut. Well, we have something from the assessing office. Dear board members, I'm asking the board to abate the timber tax in the amount of $7,957.30 plus interest. Robert Voigt, CEO of Global Superior, with an address of 93 Griffin Road, filed an intent to cut. Logger had called several times in regards to a bond. Then I learned this property was on the tax deeding list, and the Voights had submitted a payment plan. I need to make sure the board was accepting their payment plan before I went forward with the intent to cut. On July 10th, I was told the board was going over the payment plan for the Voights. At their meeting that night, I gave the intent to cut to the town administrator and asked him not to present it to the board if the payment was not accepted. Following morning, I received the intent back with signatures, which led me to believe the board had accepted the tax payment plan. Proceeded with the process. Warrant was issued, taxes never paid. The state forester has been to the property. There has been no cut to date. At this time, it is the recommendation of the assessing office to abate the timber tax in the amount of $7,957.30 plus interest. I have attached backup documentation of the situation and would appreciate your prompt response. As Mr. Voigt has filed a report of cut with a no cut, he intends to file a new intent to cut as soon as he can find a new logger. Mr. Voigt told us his plan is to pay the back taxes from the money in the cut. So we'd like the board to make a motion to abate $7,957.30 to Robert Voigt, also known as Global Superior, 93 Griffin Road.
So moved.
Second?
Moved in second.
I don't know about the interest part. I don't know what that would amount to, whether we need to include that or just get them back.
I think we would just give it back.
Yeah, no
We'll be
interest. I
okay. And
want-
if need be down the road, it will come back with a,
Yeah, I don't want the motion to include interest, so
right.
if it's something we need to, we'll readdress it.
Yep. And there will be no monetary refund on this abatement. It's for a computer adjustment only.
Right.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This one, please, sir. These are two separate poll petitions?
3 copies of the original,
Three
2
of
separate.
each.
Yep.
Do we know where these are?
There's a map on the
There's
third
a map.
page.
All I gotta do is find it. South Road. Cole Road. 2 poll petitions. One on South Road, one on Cole Road.
Make a motion, we sign the poll petitions, one on South Road, one on Cole Road.
Second.
Put them into the record.
Dick and Fred, and just for the record, the one on South Road is PSNH number 65-0624, and the one on Cole Road is PSNH number 65-0619. All that are in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, I have here a request from the town clerk tax collector. This memo is to request the Board of Selectmen to approve the following abatement for Nextel Communication, map 406, map 36-00. Next. In 2015, Nextel Communications removed all their equipment from the UNH-owned building on Saddleback Mountain. The removal of such equipment was not related to the town of Deerfield. We've been billing Nextel for equipment not on the mountain. I would like to request that the Board of Selectmen abate the taxes, and the amount to be abated is $44,053.61.
I would make a motion that we grant said abatement.
Second.
Andy and Jeff?
Yes.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Again, from the town clerk tax collector, requesting that the Board of Selectmen approve the following abatement for John Farrelly, map 205, lot 66, 8 Lakeview Lane. August 11, 2017, Mr. Farrelly came to the town tax collector's office to discuss his first half 2017 tax bill. The offices were closed that week for renovation. Mr. Farrelly spoke to me stating he had not received his bill and wanted to pay his bill. I looked up his account on my cell phone at the time and gave him the amount due. I only gave him the principal owed, not any interest. He sent in payment to us in the amount I had stated. I would like to request that you abate the interest that he paid in error. The amount to be abated is $62.11.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Jeff, was I do the second? Fred's the second, and Dick is the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I have a request from, I guess, the library trustees to hire a Caitlin E. Wallach at $14.54 an hour as a part-time or full-time?
Part-time.
Part-time employee at the library.
I would make a motion that we authorize the chairman to sign the personnel request, making this person a part-time employee at the library.
Second.
Andy and Jeff, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, and what we have here is deed waivers, where at this point, the Board of Selectmen are saying we are not going to accept a tax collector deed because in its judgment, acceptance and ownership of the real estate would subject the municipality to undesirable obligations of liability risks, per RSA 80:38, Roman numeral 2-A. There are a number of properties here. One at 2A Brown Road, Nottingham Road, map 416, lot 72, suffix 0. 32 Hammond Road. Rear of Middle Road, map 413, lot 63, suffix 02. North Road, map 405, lot 76, suffix 0. Adams Hill Road, where is Adams Hill Road?
Up behind Melinda Getty's.
Okay. Map 415, lot 48, suffix 0.
It's a big ridge that runs sort of parallel to Nottingham Road.
Okay.
Comes out on Nottingham Road.
Yeah.
163 South Road. 93 Griffin Road. Hammond Road, map 208, lot 26, Suffolk 0. 22 Hammond Road, map 208, lot 22, Suffolk 0. Reservation Road, map 418, lot 62, Suffolk 0. Off Raymond Road, map 418, lot 26, Suffolk 0. Reservation Road, map 418, lot 25, Suffolk 0. Canoza Avenue. Never heard of that one either, 201, lot 21.
Actually, we've discussed it, at the board, I think.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Subdivision on lake property or some such thing.
Oh, okay. 12 Parade Road, Deerfield, New Hampshire. 189 Courier Road. And 151 South Road. At this time, I'm looking for a motion to sign and agree with the deed waiver for the 2014 back taxes.
So moved.
Until,
Until such time as we decide.
okay.
This-
We're not,
this-
we're
this
just
just-
temporarily putting it on hold.
We're not temporarily putting it on hold. We're not taking the option that we have for the 2014 back taxes and may in the future, or at any time, if I'm correct, decide that we're going to change our mind. So who made the motion?
You know,
Was there a second?
Second.
Fred. Lot of signing, boys. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
you might as well unhook them and let them go.
That's an idea. Forgot about that. I thought they might be stapled. Hurry up, take them out of you. Somebody put the date in, please. As everybody remembers, we heard last week about the survey of the proposed PD site. We needed a wetlands delineation, $818 to $968 from Mr. Hayes of Northampton.
Motion to approve.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Is that started yet? The regular part of it?
No, he has to wait until the wetlands flagged.
To do that
This
first.
will be the first part.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know this guy, Fred?
No, I don't.
Nothing in correspondence. Town administrators report.
I have several items. You have budget updates in your folder, including a highway summary sheet that you had requested, an update to VZ Park. Last time VZ Park Chair was here, you asked him to adjust the employees accordingly, and he has done that and made the changes. And also the transfer station budget, which now includes the discussion and the amount for the new compactor and additional roll-offs. I have been asked to get approval from the board from Royals Embroidery. Linda O'Neill does embroidery for clothing and apparel and would like permission to use the town seal on embroidery of clothing and apparel.
Sounds good, it's a local
Yeah.
business.
Okay.
Good to go.
And lastly, I had an update from the highway road agent for the Range Road project, which is currently just gravel at this point. He's asked Barassa Paving to come in to just put down a base coat of paving. He had been working with R&D Paving for weeks to try to get them to come in. They have not been able to come in and finish the project, so at this point, he feels it's too late to get the project finished, so he's putting in a base coat for now, and it'll be finished in the spring. Not sure of who the vendor will be at that time, but wanted to get something down before the ground freezes. His concern is that he will not be able to do the side gravel.
Was the vendor unable for what reason?
He was,
Too busy?
he kept, and then weather would impact it.
Right.
So on and so forth, but Barassa is able to come in and just get a base coat down,
And I
which
think
is his
that-
concern.
I think that's best.
Yeah, we can't go from tar to dirt to tar with plows.
That's it for me.
Questions for the town administrator?
Yeah, just in regard to that project, we had 2 other sites that were going to receive some work. Is that postponed to the spring as well?
I have not heard any updates. I can only assume I can get verification
Okay.
for you.
I'm just thinking that one of those was Mount Delight Road, as I recall, and maybe a section of South Road too.
Yes, sir.
John, did you want to discuss the noise ordinance and the procedure?
What I found out is that any ordinance suggested, amended, or created by the board, other than for road maintenance and highway maintenance, needs to go before the body of the town at town meeting. So earlier this year, you looked at the addition of adding cats to our animal ordinance. That would need to go into a warrant to go before the town meeting. And Fred has presented a draft noise ordinance and likewise for that as well.
Everybody has a copy of the,
Yeah, I just saw it now, so I'd like to read it.
so why don't we read it?
And that, the model, or what I've got there now is based on, I think, about 5 different community noise ordinances. Many of them have portions of that that are exactly the same, and one of which being appeals would end up going to the, or not an appeal, it's basically a variance to the ordinance, could go to the town administrator for a written request by an applicant to get a variance from from that ordinance, and then an appeal would then come to us, as normally the case. But it really surprised me. I thought that the board could adopt, following a public hearing, adopt an ordinance like this, but seeing that in the statutes, and then John getting confirmation from from Bart that, no, it has to go to a town meeting, so.
Okay.
Sounds like that's, and there's certainly, from what I've heard, there's certainly some support for a noise ordinance being put in place.
So we'll also be doing that with, you mentioned a cat issue.
Right, you've already looked at that change in the ordinance earlier. That will have to go on a warrant.
Okay. Anything else for the town administrator? Unfinished business. Andy?
I don't know if it's unfinished or other or new, but I had a couple of things. One is the highway budget. I talked to the highway agent on, I'm going to say Friday. One of the things that John and Peter had done was pull the equipment rental from various subsections of the budget, so we had a clear handle on what we're paying for equipment rental. We've always had an equipment rental line in the town budget. I think it's been funded at around $12,000, and typically we've never come close to fulfilling it. We actually, over the past few years, and it started before Mark was the road agent, but we've actually rented quite a bit of equipment. I think last year we were maybe over $60,000 for equipment rental. This year we're on course to be well over $50,000. That gets coded, if it's used for road reconstruction, it gets thrown under road reconstruction, where it doesn't necessarily show up as equipment rental. It gets tossed in with basically aggregate materials. The same with winter maintenance. Mark was concerned about having that number stand out under equipment rental, and if you looked at the most recent AP expenditure report, that money is under equipment rental. My explanation to Mark was that as an individual selectman, I think that we need to put it there, and that we need to be very upfront about the equipment rental costs. And I explained it as this protects both Mark and it protects the Board of Selectmen by keeping this as transparent as possible. A large amount of that expense is from Mark's own company. And I think we need to keep it open and available for people to easily identify. I don't for a second think that the road agent is doing anything but saving us money and providing us the proper equipment. And I said that to him and said if the select board had any concerns about this, we would shut you down, not make the number public. But that was what I told him. I know this started last year. We had Penny list the actual vendors in the report with what was actually paid. But I guess in my mind, it made sense to have equipment rental under equipment rental. What I did tell Mark that I would suggest, he had some budgeting concerns. I said if it's really a budgeting concern by subsection of the highway budget, I said, I guess my personal feeling would be that we should put an equipment rental line in each subsection. We could have an equipment rental line under road reconstruction. We could have one under highway maintenance winter, highway maintenance summer, and people would be able to track that. But I thought it was appropriate, and we'd really gotten away from it. I was thinking Mark was going to be here tonight, but he isn't. But that's the conversation he and I had, and I told him that I would bring it up at Monday night's meeting, so his concern was out there, and give a chance for any selectmen to chime in as to how they thought about it.
Yes, sir.
I think that makes sense, that otherwise it kind of gets lost in the expenditure lines, and this would certainly be able to call it out.
Well, I was questioned about it last year by the Budget Committee to some extent, that how come, they clearly knew that we had rented more equipment, and I think last year we had somewhere around $4,800 in expense under rented equipment in the highway budget as a total. But
I heard a little bit about this before the the meeting also, and I agree with Mark's deal. I'd like to make sure that whether it's a total at the end of the day, but I want to see how much of the loader rental went for loading winter sand, how much went to Ridge
yeah.
Road. I don't know why we can't put a line under every one so he can, because he needs to be able to track
Mhm.
if we're gonna do, I know it's one time check, but I can't see why we couldn't have a line so that summer roads, winter roads,
Right.
all the different, few new projects. I mean, down at the transfer station, they were, the rented Kubota for cleaning up something was gonna go down there to set the post for the addition. Well, it went back before that happened. But that way it would have been under it. We could
Mhm.
see what the true costs really were. That's all. If we could keep it for more than budgeting purposes, just an accurate of where the money's going.
Yes, sir.
And I think that Mark would be agreeable to that, the conversation we had.
Fair enough. We'll do it, yes, sir.
The other thing I had, and one of the reasons I noticed that the October 2nd minutes were missing was I was trying to find tracking of our discussion, but I was looking at the GBW budget. And I don't know if I was sleeping or missed it or what, but I went back and saw that we've got a little over $7,000 for an electronic keypad entry system for this building.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't recall much discussion about that.
Okay.
I don't remember any.
Yeah, and I don't know that I'm in favor of spending $7,000 for an electronic keypad entry system for this building, but I didn't know what the rest of the board.
I've only heard about it from taxpayers, and it's been definitely a real negative. That's very unnecessary at this point. And I've been hearing 17 to 20,000, but maybe that's just because of what's getting spread around town.
Yes, sir.
I don't know when I was looking at it, and the reason I was looking was because I had gotten some negative feedback too. I found it looked like around $7,500.
Yeah.
Could you talk about it now, Joe?
Sure.
That figure is still a little high. That was for 3 doors. It should be down. I'm waiting for another estimate from, Mark was talking to the vendor. It should come down probably another $200 to $2,500 for 2 doors with the system.
Your reasons behind wanting to do it?
Well, we're losing both the building supervisor, who has keys and multiple access to all the buildings, and we're also changing over the town clerk tax collector. It's going to require rekeying the building anyway with all the exterior doors. Anytime you have a major role shift like that, for security reasons, it's recommended that you rekey the building. My thought with that was every time we rekey the building, you have to make multiple keys, hand them out. There's nothing to stop people from duplicating the keys that they have in their hands. It again poses a security to who has a security risk to who has access in the building. With a key card system, there's no longer a need for a physical key. You merely turn the key card off or you change its access code, and it does not require a physical rekeying of the building. I currently have a request from Mark to get a locksmith's cost for rekeying all of the exterior doors again. I don't have that figure yet.
Yeah, I don't
It
think
was a
that's,
cost saving over the long term.
yeah, that doesn't sound like it's really apples to apples, though, that we would rekey every door if we're just gonna electronically key 2 doors on this building.
Yeah, why isn't put the money into the tax collector's office and not worry about it? If that's the one that we're worried about Kevin leaving and somebody else getting in there. I mean, it doesn't make any sense at all to do a dozen other doors just because of that one. That, I would think that office would be one of the most secure offices in the building.
But to put key access in the 2 main doors, you would have to fix all the other outer doors that God knows how many people have keys to. That's,
You know, what's it hurting if the tax collector one is separate? I mean, you said
it's
Kevin
not
getting
hurting
it done.
anything.
makes us redo it. It doesn't make any sense.
It was not only the tax collector, it was the building supervisor as well. And it's just been years since any keys have been done.
So basically, the building supervisor and the town collector are leaving. It makes sense to rekey the access ports to the building when you have two people such as that leaving. The idea was to instead go to a key card, which is something that can be changed. And Andy may back me up, but over the years, we've had a number of problems where we don't know how many people have keys to this building. It was just an idea, I guess, to come to a solution for the entry of this building with a one-time cost of rekeying the rest of the entrances to the building and make two entrances to the building that rather than have to constantly hand out keys, we can give a key card. I guess it was an idea to solve that problem. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think you're gonna, my understanding is that you're gonna hand out individual key cards. This isn't a simple code that gets you through the door.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, I'm a little bit familiar with Max 3 system, having looked at it for some other organizations, and I just don't like the expense of it. I also, this is a public building. The individual offices are lockable. The building has public hours when it's open and locked. I know the Max 3 system is great for controlling who gets in and out of the building, for following who's in the building, what times they're in the building, how long they're in the building. And I just don't feel that that's appropriate at this time for Deerfield's town offices, but that's my individual opinion.
I agree 100%.
Well,
I don't know where the funds were gonna come from, but I'm sure with what we're hearing on the street about the latest round of tax bills, we don't need another $7,500 if we can change the tax collector's lock.
well, we can change the tax, I'm not necessarily for or against this, but it's not just a tax collector's door. Then there's the assessor's door, and then there's the door to come in the door. I thought it was a viable suggestion for something to solve the problem, but if the board's not agreeable, that's fine, but I don't think it's a bad idea.
Well, I think it's more or less how it came about, hearing it on the street before we heard it here. It was one of my major issues, and then how the price got so high. I have no idea how that happened.
Well, I did originally talk about it when I brought up the George B. White building. It's been in the budget the whole time. That 7,800 did represent 3 doors. It's been reduced to 2. But again, I don't have that number for you. It was merely a suggestion to save constantly rekeying doors and unknown access to the building, but it can be easily removed if the board is not in favor of it.
I think people feel it's more of a tracking system than the key part of it, John, the truth be known. Who's coming in when and for how long.
That was never the intent.
I mean, if we're gonna do that, we should be putting cameras in instead of locks. Then we can watch them.
Well, I think that that is a perception anytime you look at a system like that. It's linked up to a network. You can authorize each of those cards for who can enter at what time. You can keep people from entering too early in the morning. You can keep them from entering too late, which may have some security benefit, but may also make people feel like they're working in a less than 10-person office building and being electronically monitored, so to speak.
I'm agreeable with taking the money out of the budget. I just, I'm amazed at some of the feedback on it, because it's basically, I thought it was a good idea. It wasn't mine, but I thought it made sense for the future, but if the board's not comfortable with it, let's take the money out.
Yeah, I understand the reasoning, but I would say at this point, I'm not comfortable with it and would make a motion to remove money for an electronic keypad system.
Second.
It would be Andy and Dick. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Any other? Yes, sir.
One more
Andrew?
thing.
That's all right.
By virtue of hanging around town too much, a couple of unnamed police officers caught up with me at the gas pumps today and gave me a couple of suggestions they would like to run by the board. One, they'd like to see all town vehicles be inspected. There are presently a couple that aren't, apparently. One being the building inspecting truck, maybe the rescue vehicle, I'm not sure of that, though. Cindy's here. Maybe she knows. And they would also like to reiterate the no cell phone talking when you're driving in a town vehicle. And I was assured that one of the most common complaints they get is that they see Deerfield-marked vehicles with drivers with a cell phone stuck to the side of their head chattering. And they feel it puts them in an awkward position as officers. And
It does.
I assured them that I would bring it up.
Thank you, that's a good point.
Definitely. That's been
So,
They all signed that, agreeing to it, that they would,
personnel policy.
yeah. Time for a reminder, John.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to pass on the, should old vehicles be, I thought,
Well, it's a state law, why aren't they?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not even an excuse for that.
I think
know.
it probably comes down to time, but
You know, it happens to you if you don't have time.
So can we also remind the department heads who have vehicles
Yes.
to see to that? Yes,
I
ma'am.
took the rescue and I had to replace the battery. I've been asked to run it first so the computer can reset.
Yeah, they need to reset, it needs to run X amount of cycles.
Does it run enough miles to, that's why rescue isn't.
Yeah, it needs to run X amount of start up, warm up, turn off cycles for the computer to,
50 miles.
yeah.
Guess you'll have to take a ride tomorrow, Cindy. To a Deerfield.
Go to
I tried
Portsmouth.
get it done today.
I'm sure you're not the big offender.
Andrew?
What?
Do you have anything else?
No, I'm done.
It's like Columbo.
How about you, sir?
Yes, I received an email from the town administrator in Auburn, and they apparently are putting together an application for a grant on a project that was very similar to the Hartford Brook ball field, and they would like to be able to see what a successful application looks like. And I was wondering if it's okay to get a copy of that to them.
Yeah, I think for like a donation of, say, $2,500 to
Yeah,
the
no
Hartford
sweat.
Field Maintenance Fund, that would be.
Anyone opposed to that?
Not at all.
Okay.
If I forward it to you, Fred, can you get it to them?
Yeah. I guess you can't email it, well, you can email it to me at
Work.
work, yeah.
Any other old, new, unfinished, or whatever business? Do we need a non-public today? Citizens' comments. Miss Katie, the microphone is right on the table next to you there.
I'll grab it for you if you'd like.
Thank you.
You mentioned that you going to sign the amended Social Security, but you didn't mention how much we were going to have to pay.
Sorry, we have the wrong number.
Pay and pay and pay.
You mean it was right there? Total amount for 3 years of under-reporting is $24,027.14 between
And
FICA and Social Security. I mean, Medi.
a further question to that is, how much did it cost us to have our accountant as well as our our treasurer do those papers?
Town treasurer was asked to assist the town, and the services for that would be in the amount of $1,445.
And then can I ask?
No.
I realize that the auditor should have picked this up. But who is in charge? I don't know this, but under law, I remember when Cindy Thomason was the treasurer, she had that all done. Now, maybe because we were a smaller town or smaller budget or whatever, she did those things. And now we have a treasurer that seems to just take whatever our finance person does and signs off on it. I don't see where our treasurer is doing the work that Cindy used to do, for instance. So, should that have been legally the treasurer's responsibility to have done? I realize we hire bookkeepers and finance people to do, but shouldn't the treasurer have made sure that was correct? No answer. Could you get that answer, please?
I don't think there is an answer to that, but go ahead.
And, I don't know, when did the desk come, John? A month ago?
About that.
That's when I realized that the key I'd been given to the two doors down there didn't fit. And a couple of other times when we've worked at night by law, we've had to go through Yanni's to come down the hall. Didn't have a key.
Breach of security.
And so, I don't really want to have a key, but I also at times have to get in by law. And as you were talking about keying, I thought of, we don't just have two doors, that one and this one, but we have Yanni's, which has the door for them to come out to the bathroom, so they're into the building anyways. Then we have the door at the end, and then we have the door at Claire's, where she can send people through. So would it take a lot more than a couple of doors to be keyed, but rather several doors to be keyed so that we could use key cards? Or are we looking at key cards only for certain offices?
We're not looking for them right now. Just got voted down.
So is it something that will be studied?
Miss Katie, we've gone through this a number of times. This is citizens' comments, not citizens' questions and answered. I answered the numbers from the thing because I had them right here and I should have read them. But in the meantime, would you just understand that this is not going to be an ongoing conversation?
This is questions about the business.
This is citizens' comments. This is not citizens' questions.
Okay, I'll write them in the right to know. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Motion to adjourn,
Second?
6:20.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Absolute